An Arizona man in the wake of the Las Vegas shooting made a symbolic gesture of giving away his guns. It's how he figured he could contribute to something positive around this. So he posted, his name is Jonathan Pring. He's a dual British and American citizen, and he shared pics of himself giving guns over to the police. There he is handing over, and they're no small arms. He said in part of his Facebook post, "I will miss my guns. I enjoyed taking them to the range and doing Rambo poses in front of the mirror. I paid a lot of money for them, however. If I was to write down the 10 most important things in my life, the guns wouldn't make the list." He said, "We can do something about the guns. We can just get rid of them. It's that easy." So that's his attempt to do something. Do we believe him? What is your reaction to seeing that kind of a statement? Is it a good statement? Is it a good rhetorical stance for people to take?
I mean, I'm someone who doesn't like guns around me to begin with. I can't really relate to someone like him because I think the most dangerous thing you can do is to have that weapon in your home. Like someone else could pick it up, or you could have a bad day if you have depression issues. Like, I just think having it around is so dangerous. So I like that he gave him up just for his own sake.
Right, the amendment, I think it's called the Dickey Amendment, that keeps people from doing research around gun violence through the CDC. That came as a result of someone doing research that discovered that if you have a gun in your home, it's more likely there will be a gun homicide in your home. And after that bit of news coming out, they were like, we shouldn't do any research about guns anymore. That's it. He's giving away his guns. I'm a cynical person, super duper cynical. And I mean, I get it. I mean, I hope that certain people decide they're gonna change as a result of this, but I don't know. What are you
cynical about in this story?
I don't know.
You don't believe the guy's, you don't think he's real? You think that he went out and bought those guns the night before?
No, it's more like the idea of someone going out there and saying the solution in all of this is for everyone to give up their guns. I think paints a certain picture of like the people who are interested in gun control only advocating complete relinquishing of all firearms.
I guess what I like about it though, yeah, he's leading by example.
He's leading by
example. He's putting his guns where his mouth is. Like, I like that he had an idea and he ran with it and he said, "This is how I did it." I appreciate that part of it. He didn't tell everyone else to go and do it. He said, "This is what I'm doing." Yeah. And for him to take a backlash on his own, well, I guess you didn't get to that part of the story yet, but like he did this on his own, and took so much hell for it. That's the part that makes me sad. He wasn't preaching.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the hell that he's gotten. I've got one quote of someone who posted as a response to what he put on Facebook. He said, this person said, "He's unarmed and wants you to show his wife a good time while he watches." Like, come on. And that's not it. A lot of people are saying a bunch of terrible, terrible things to this guy.
Yeah.
And he took down that Facebook post, and then
did he?
And he took his family out of the house because someone posted his home address.
Right. So yeah, the gun. So yeah, if you cross those gun guys, they're jerks.
Yeah, turns out,
and they're armed.
Yeah.
And they're armed.
So I mean, do you think that? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just again the whole idea that we're allowed to. Everyone is for gun control. No matter who it is, no matter because should I be allowed to own a tank? Should I be allowed to own a bazooka? No, well then you're for gun control. It's just where you put it. And so I'm for limiting magazines. I'm for limiting get rid of assault weapons. Like we used to have an assault weapons ban in this country. We can do what Australia did. This idea that somehow, the reason why you want guns is what they'll say is to protect me from the tyranny of the government. The government's gonna come and take my rights, and so I want a gun to protect myself from the government. That's what they'll say, except the government already took your rights. We live in a surveillance state. You have no rights left. They have every text, every phone call, every email you make, and you don't have habeas corpus anymore. They can throw you in jail without charging you. All they have to do is say you're a terrorist. So your rights are gone already. We don't have this liberty and freedom you think you have. And so, but you still want your gun. They took all your other rights, but you still want that gun. So now the gun's just for the gun. It's about nothing else except you fetishizing guns. And We all know that they overlooked the part in the Second Amendment that says a well-regulated militia. We all know they overlooked that. Why would they put that in the Second Amendment?
From my perspective, the Second Amendment is the worst amendment just from a writer's standpoint. It is the most poorly written amendment in the original Bill of Rights. All the other ones are like freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of this, freedom of that. The beginning, it's a well-regulated militia, comma, being essential to the security of the state, comma. Then, I mean, there's if you try to parse it out, it's so archaic. The right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
But it said arms, not guns.
But it's like, it's like they just want the guns. The way it's framed, either it's written the way I believe it to be like, all right, there's got to be guns because a militia, well-regulated militia. Like it's poorly written because you're writing well-regulated, word regulated is in there.
Yes.
And then you say shall not be impinged. So it says something that should be regulated, should not be regulated. Yeah. It's a shittily written amendment to the bill, to the Constitution. And then, but the other way to interpret it is the way you ask for something when you don't want to get to it too quick. It's like, I want the gun, but I don't want to say, give me the fucking gun. I'm like, the guns, armies, being that they are for security purposes, if you want, because we got to regulate security state, give me the fucking gun. It's like your hands for clasping things. They're important for, could you jack me off? Like that's what it is.
I get what you're saying, but people also forget that the Second Amendment was written at a time when we had muskets.
I was just about to say that. Let's let them all have muskets.
Yeah, everybody could have a musket.
I'm fine with
anything above a musket is illegal.
But you also went to, the old battlefields and they had cannons. Did people go like throughout the city with their, with their musket and their cannon wheeling behind them?
Hey, if you want to put a cannon on your sidearm, go ahead. If you want to put it on your belt.
Well, at the time, Scalia even wrote this. I think I mentioned it on the show yesterday. Scalia wrote, like, there's a law back in the day where you couldn't carry a scary weapon around. Like that was illegal for the purpose of intimidation. I don't know if it's called brandishing. I didn't look it up between then and now.
The Wild West used to make you check your guns in at the city limit. Yeah. The Wild West used to do that. So they had more gun control in the Wild West than we have in the civilized 21st century.
TYT membership gets you commercial-free Young Turks. Download it, stream it, podcast it, get all the network shows, and support independent media. TYTnetwork.com/join.